So allow me to introduce you our first speaker, which is Mr. Birger Ferber, AI lead of the data-centric workload and solutions group in EMEA at Dell Technologies. Hi, Birger, how are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, Hugo. And thank you very much for having me today.
Yeah. How about artificial intelligence? Is it still, an unknown concept, or we're making progresses?
Actually, we're making progresses. The point at the moment is that the progress is so fast that every time when we think we hit the point, there are 2, 3, 20 more points to run after. So it's unbelievable, huge business. It's an unbelievable, fast-moving business, but it has fantastic opportunities to help our customers, to help our businesses, and hopefully at the end of the day, also to make our life a little bit easier and maybe even better.
All right, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So let me start by share my screen. I hope you can see it now.
Yes, it's okay.
Perfect. So yes, thank you very much again for having me, and good afternoon. My name is Birger Ferber. I'm working for a sub-team of Dell Technologies across EMEA, and that's where I'm leading the AI part. I'm talking a little bit about democratizing artificial intelligence today. Do me a favor, if you have questions or comments, do not hesitate to interrupt or put it in the chat or whatever your preferred way is. The session is supposed to be for you, so hopefully you can benefit a little bit from that. And this democratizing AI, which is already virtually impossible to pronounce correctly, what is it? What are we talking about? And it's about the spread of artificial intelligence, not only the development, but also the usage to a much, much broader user base. And this user base is usually not very familiar with the detailed technology background of specialization of AI. So making AI consumable is probably a good explanation for democratizing AI. And when we look at the markets, and this is just an excerpt, I'm pretty sure you have all seen similar slides. So I'm going to jump over them there. It's in 2025, it's expected to have a collection of data, which is 163 zettabytes, whatever a zettabyte means and whatever data that represents. I'd simply put it much, much easier and say it's huge and it's growing and it's massively growing. And so also is the expense for managing all that stuff. Whether it's autonomous vehicles, whether it's edge computing, or whether it's speech recognition, or it's all in there. And we have laid the foundation for these over the last maybe 5 years, let's say 5 to 10 years. But there's much more to come, which is built on what we're doing today and what we did over the last time. And this is AI is everywhere virtually. It's almost everywhere today. So when we use our mobile phone, for example, we do not even think about what's in it and how to use it and what it does for us. When we use this Zoom here and we enable automatic translation, I can keep on talking and even talk in either German or French or English or whatever language, and it will automatically translate to you. And this is all managed by this artificial intelligence in the background. And this is what is meant by democratizing AI, make it usable for customers without having an insight. So what we did and what we do today is something we call Web 2.0, if you will. This is adding some infrastructure, some artificial intelligence to the infrastructure we have. And with the development to come in Web 3.0, we will see that the usage is changing from being an add-on of the infrastructure to be a kind of part of the infrastructure. This is, for example, the development of or the usage of GraphDB, where you have not the historical databases with its rows and its rows, but with entities and the relation between all these different entities, how they interact, how they depend on each other. And yeah, ChatGPT, we already heard it in the intro from Hugo. So this is something which is probably going to change our way of using AI systems, but it's not finally not there where it should be and where it could be. You probably all heard that the limitations are simply because the code, the database is only going until 2020. So all the developments which happened over the last 2.5 years are not included, and so on and so on. But still, it's the fundamental change is that we will have systems which are implemented into the infrastructure as AI based. And then what we will see afterwards with Web 3.1 is that AI is, so to speak, becoming the infrastructure. It's the technology being used is all AI based, and the outcome is much, much smarter. Imagine that there could be smart construction functionalities for building houses or ships or whatever is, you can imagine. There is a smart contract, for example. So one company buying another one, done more or less, I don't want to call it automatically because there's still a lot of human interaction in there, but the foundation is done automatically by artificial intelligence. And this is just a sample for how we will see what will happen in the future. And what we are doing at Dell to address this is a strategy we call on Dell, in Dell, and for Dell. On Dell means this is for you, for the consumer, for the customer. So using our systems to make your AI solutions run, and extended that with some automated functionality in the background, just like automated data management. And I'm not talking about necessarily about backup restore or something which we usually understood by data management, but it's about cleansing the data, collecting the data, bringing it into one location, making it available for several different development paths, and so on and so on. And this is in conjunction with the systems like the storage and the servers, obviously. And this is what we call AI on Dell. In addition to that, we do have one part of our strategy called AI in Dell. What does that mean? It's the attempt to make our systems, our servers, our storage products smarter and have them managed by artificial intelligence on the one hand side, but also to provide the interfaces to use them in your MLOps or whatever development you're doing, and to use them automatically and smoothly. And then there is the AI for Dell part, which means this is what we're doing for ourselves, for our company. It's about optimizing our production. It's about education, training, a huge part within Dell. And you probably heard that this week, just as we speak now, we do have our European or EMEA FRS, which is the basic kickoff of the fiscal year, which is still dealing a lot with artificial intelligence as well. And it's not only that one, it's also about our services and our maintenance offerings for our customers, and of course, our production. So this is AI on, AI in, and AI for Dell, the way how we react to the upcoming developments over the next years. Still, when we think about, wow, what's to come, what's that? It's about data and it's about code. And there's one rule which is still absolutely true for today, saying that if you don't know what your problems are, what your business problems are, AI will not fix that. This is essential to be aware of. A good definition of the business goals is essential for a successful AI project. Without the defined and clearly communicated goals, you have a high probability that your project will simply, I don't want to say fail, but probably not really achieve what's being expected in the beginning. So how could we address this? For example, here's just a little proposal and a way we at Dell follow in combination with an example for financial fraud detection or protection for customers in the space of deep learning. And you see, we do have the inputs, of course, and this is only an excerpt. There are much more, obviously. The questions we are asking, or we ask, using these questions, we try to classify what is really in it. Is this a real problem? Where is it? Where does it resist? How present is it? So is this a problem which is hitting us in a second from now? Or is it a problem which will hit us in the long run? Or did it already hit us in the past and we have to do something around fixing it? And how likely is that this problem will occur again? And how likely is that our solution will fix that? Excuse me. And then another part, or an extension and very important part, is the recommendation part, which is trying to give advice of how to avoid the same issue reappearing in the future. And on the right-hand side, you see these outputs, so to speak, of these discussions or of this thinking about the issue, which is the kind of use case like anomaly detection or laundry protection, or there are a lot of things mentioned here. So it's really about classifying the problem or the business goal, putting it into multiple tasks, and then answering the individual tasks step by step. That's our approach there, which we try to bring to, I don't want to say every problem, but to the standard business problems customers have. And we are following this approach of the understand, analyze, and recommend, not only within AI, but this is a standard approach we're using within Dell when we cooperate with our customers. And for AI specifically, what we have seen, and I've put an old slide in here, if you look at the bottom, you will see it's from 2019. What are the barriers that AI projects are either not even started, or if they are started, do not reach what they are supposed to reach? And you see one issue is the skill, not enough skilled resources. And it's going down all the way to inappropriate programming and problematic algorithms and so on. But the two main issues are the skills by those who are programming and developing this, and by the data preparation. These are the two technical main issues, and there are a lot of more, but I don't want to call it chaos. I just want to say it is an old problem, or these are old problems. They are known for years, but still, and you see this as well on this slide, in 2019, so almost 4 years ago now, there were issues with people were not really clear about what they can expect from an artificial intelligence or machine learning project. And this has not changed. There was a recent poll from Gartner, which says these are no more 53%. Today, these are 52%. So at the end of the day, it stays the same. And we urgently need to do something about the complex, or the management of the complexity and the way of defining the business goals. For the complexity, what we have done is we have set a number of use cases. Use case means these are or were projects realized at customer sites for specific business goals. And you can see here in the financial market on the second left hand, it's, for example, about credit scoring or fraud detection or risk management and so on and so on. One thing which is coming up massively is the compliance part. I don't know if you heard about the European AI Act, which just came out back in November and officially announced in January this year, which tries to give the AI development a formal framework, if you will, which means how to develop, not which tools to use, but when you use a tool, how can you make sure that you understand what this tool is doing? So this is a little bit of the older approach of black space or black boxing. You had a box, you threw data at it, and it did something, and you could trust in the result. You could say, I don't trust, but there was no understanding. Whereas these automatic monitoring, reporting, and so on leads to something called explainable AI, which then is the foundation of to answer to compliance questions. So this is also something really, really compelling, especially for the financial market. And I need to speed up a little bit, so I'll skip this because it's more or less a repetition, but it's always the same approach. So you need to define the use case, you need to have the data, you need to develop the models, and probably you're in a sense where you say, I'm following a no-code or low-code strategy, which means I, as a company, will not provide the development, but I'll buy instead or reuse what others have already done. This is quite attractive, especially as within the open source market, there's a lot of development going on in that space, and a lot of models can be reused. What's not that easy is the software ecosystem, which means the whole management of that stuff. So not only a scheduler, which starts some jobs, but also the knowledge management around it, the data management around it, all the different stuff which is in there. This is the software ecosystem, and at the end of the day, it, of course, is running at some IT environment. And there's the question, how do I consume it? What's the consumption model? Is it a cloud model? Is it an on-prem model? If it is a cloud model, for example, does it really have to be something like big hyperscalers like AWS or whatever it is there, Google and so on and so on? Or is it probably something you could use, consume, managed by, for example, a company like Dell or our partners? This is an approach we call Apex. And probably it might be interesting for you as well to have a look at that one. And but how do you get forward? Here are some questions to find what's the next step. And if you look at the questions and you answer those questions yourself, this might probably help you getting a little bit more forward and get you or help you to develop an idea of how something can be done. And what do you want to do next? What can you do next? Where do you need help? Where do you find it? It's something about the IT alignment, or the alignment of IT and business, I should say, sorry. And the consumption, so this democratizing thing again, which is select a partner. It's one recommendation I can only give you, have a channel partner and think about having technology partners. And try to build a relationship with them on the long run, not only for one specific project, which is thought to run for 3 or 4 weeks, but really for the long run. It's something I can only recommend. And if you would like to see products or demos or want to test something, there are the solution centers we provide. There are innovation development labs where we can help you. And we, of course, have our specialists who can come to you, talk to you, do this kind of workshop approach I was talking about earlier, and so on and so on and so on. So this is, in summary, what I wanted to present today. And hopefully, if you have questions, feel free, ask. And with that, I'm giving back to Bogdan.
Thank you very much, Birger. So yeah, very insightful and very fruitful. Let me ask you, I've seen into your presentation several numbers which I recognize them from other domains, like there's a lack of resources in terms of artificial intelligence, and however, the entire society is going in a very accelerated way to digitalization and to extensive usage of AI. Isn't this a paradox or
yes.
something which doesn't fit here?
Yeah, it's what we always hear is a little bit like the strategy, do more with less or something around that, which is, yeah, it's a nice wording, but it really says nothing. So what is essential there is you need a foundation of experiences and of tested environments, if you will, and reuse the knowledge which others already invented there. It does not make sense to reinvent the wheel for every single project. So really benefiting from what others are doing is essential for saving cost, for saving time, and for increasing the efficiency. And to do that, we do have, and not only we do, but we always focus on and heavily propose to use the so-called validated designs, Dell Technologies validated designs, and to use a term which is not allowed, we simply internally call it DVD. You all know what a DVD is, so you know what I'm talking about. And these validated designs really try to combine the business problem or the solution to the business problem with an according infrastructure and an according management of all that stuff. And this is really there to help save time, and as I said, to increase the efficiency and to reduce the cost associated, which then, final thought, also allows you to have your employees really focusing on the business issue instead of focusing on all the technical problems which might be there in combining this driver with that hardware and all that other stuff.
All right. Just in 30 seconds, I've heard Elon Musk mention that AI is more dangerous than nukes. How do you comment on that? Is this a joke or?
No, it's not. If you look at the idea of AI replacing human being decisions or thinking or whatever the term is, there's a huge problem in restricting an AI module, a machine learning module, in restricting this module to do what it is supposed to do. And if I develop for example, for climate prediction or climate change prediction, what prevents this model from analyzing the influences on the climate and figuring out that the human being is probably one of the most driving problems behind the climate change? And what then is the reaction to that? I don't want to go into these strange science fiction things like iRobot or something, but it's really essential to restrict the models to what they were supposed to solve. And therefore, it's the framework which I mentioned by the EU AI Act, and there's something similar going on in the US, by the way, is not just there were bureaucrats who didn't have something to do, but it's really an essential part, and so we should really have a look at that.
Birger, thank you very much for your presence to CIO Talks, and looking forward for having you again at our next events. Thank you very much.
So thank you. Just one comment, questions and so on you have on my contact data. Feel free to contact me offline or call me or whatever. And it's not only restricted to the event today.
We'll do it for sure.
Thank you, Hugo.
Good. Thank you very much.